Alright, hello, hello. Welcome to Super Fancy Pants Adventure. My name is Newt. I play this game sometimes. I should be just about ready to go. If you all are. Everything good on your end?
Yep, we're ready for a countdown.
Awesome. Alright. Let's get this started. We'll go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, this is Super Fancy Pants Adventure. It is a continuation of the Fancy Pants Flash games from the mid to late 2000s. It's a super awesome platformer, and I'm going to be running the Any % New Game Plus category. So we're going to be starting out with several abilities that you would normally unlock throughout the game, which allow us to skip certain things and just generally make this a much more flashy, interesting speed run. So right off the bat, one of the big things that you're going to be noticing me doing is slide jumping, and this is sort of our main movement tech for the game. Put shortly, when you are landing on the ground and you hold down, you can go into a slide, and in certain situations, going into a slide when you hit the ground will give you a short burst of speed, and jumping immediately out of that slide can help you sort of maintain that speed over and over again. This is level 1. This is Basement Spire. It goes by pretty quickly, so I'm going to try to cover things as well as I can. This room shows some of the slide jumps pretty well, too, right away at the beginning of the room. And then a couple more here. And you can see just how much speed we can pick up by getting those slide jumps. Great stuff. We are just moving along already. Alright, so we're gonna have a couple more slide jumps. Unfortunately, I hit that little bottom platform and that sent me flying. Loses a little bit of time, but we are a-okay. I'm gonna jump off of that platform to get all the way down here. And then we'll do a couple more jumps, maybe, to get up here. Little jank, it was a little spooky, but in all, things are great. That's Caboodle. Caboodle is a cat that we'd normally save to unlock the ink pen, but since this is New Game Plus, we start with that. So we don't have to save the cat. So everybody say hi-bye, Caboodle. So I was able to hit the second platform in that previous room, which is a little tricky to do. An interesting thing about this game is that your speed is maintained from one room to the next when you cross loading zones, as well as the height that you cross that loading zone. And we're going to see that used a couple of times throughout this run to set up our speed from one room to the next. So that was the first level. We are now in level 2 already. This is Spoogleville Plains. And I'm going to try not to fall through the hole there, which we didn't. Things are good so far. And we will keep moving along. So you'll see a black bar up in the top right corner of the screen, and that is our ink meter. I just missed that jump. It's all good. The ink meter, we have a couple of moves that use up the ink meter, Ink Dash and Ink Shot. We'll see those a couple of times. Right there was an instance of setting up my movement in a particular way at the end of one room so that we could get through this room a lot more easily, a lot faster. I'm going to do the same thing here by doing a specific slide jump there. I should land on sort of the top end of that platform in the beginning of this room. Jump right through that little box. Okay, don't blink, there's a lot that happens in this next room. There's a lot that happens in general. I'm gonna slide through that spider, use a dash attack to get up to this moving platform early, do a couple of specific slide jumps there up to that platform, and do not a jump there. So we missed one of the big skips that I was going to show off, but that's alright. If you look up at the black bar in the corner again, the ink meter, it has gone down a little bit, and that's because I did one of the dash attacks. So we have a limited use here at the beginning of the game because in the first 2 levels there's no way for us to refill our ink meter until we see ink enemies, and those will be the main way that we use to refill our ink throughout the game. It'll be just a couple of more rooms until we see those guys. So I'm going to do a slide here and off this rail. Do 1 up air there, and that skips a good portion of that room by going underneath it and underneath that big wall of spikes. So I'm going to do a dash attack there again. It's just a lot easier to get up here and do some slide jumps to sort of skip through this cutscene a little bit faster than we normally do. Safety Pogo. Pogo is one of the abilities that you unlock through the ice cream shop in the game. And now we're in one of the more notorious rooms in the run. This is the ink drop room. It runs on a cycle that... I don't know how to explain the cycle too much. Like, it's different every single time you go in there. It's tricky to get through there without getting hit because it's always going to be slightly different. So I'm going to attack that enemy to get some more ink and dash through those enemies there, and that skips a little horde fight. That was puddle jump. Like I said, we don't really have enough time to explain things properly because they all happen so quickly. I see some people in chat talking about the movement in this game, and yes, it is so buttery smooth, and I love it so much. I live for the movement. And I'm gonna do a pogo off of one of these enemies quick, just to refill the ink a little bit, because I'm gonna need it here in the next room, where I'm going to be doing a skip called Ice Cream Skip. And that skips the ice cream. So I'm gonna buffer a jump there to get up to the little ledge easily. I'm gonna do a slide jump there to get up onto the bathtub, run up the wall, 4, 5, 6, 7 up airs, and then a dash attack, and that skips over this wall here with the ice cream salesman. Normally we'd need to talk to him and then talk to somebody inside the bathtub tower. We're not gonna do that, we're just gonna skip all of that. Just good stuff. Pogo through a lot of those guys. There's some enemies there that I wanted to get through. It's a little sketchy. And go off of that block, how about? Alright, this is a little mini boss. He's not too troublesome. Another thing that we start out with in New Game Plus is full strength and health upgrades. So you don't really have to worry about those a whole lot. Down that hole is the first boss of the game, but since we already have Ink Dash and Ink Shot, we can just skip it entirely. I'm not going to see it at all. So we've seen Ink Dash used a couple of times in the run already, and now we're going to see it used 10 times in this one room alone. So if you've been counting, that is 7 uses already. And I'm going to do 3 more here. Hopefully, not quite. Unfortunate. So I'm going to just do 2 more off of one of the birds and then one of the enemies. You can jump out of an Ink Dash for a dash jump, which I'm going to do there, and you can get a little extra height from those and reach places that you can't normally get to. So doing some dash jumps off of the slopes will give me enough speed here to sort of get through this room a little bit more quickly. I'm gonna dash there and do a couple of jumps off of those platforms so I can dash up to that red rail, and that skips having to jump on the yellow ropes instead. Whew. Gonna need a breather here in a moment. Just barely missed this little platform. That's okay. Gonna dash up to that moving platform, and that allows us to get around this really congested pile of enemies that's super annoying to deal with. But we don't want to. Gonna pogo through those enemies to refill the ink a little bit. And now we are going to be moving into the second half of level 3. And this is Pirate Rescue Party. There are going to be 3 pirates that we need to rescue. And there's going to be some awesome skips along the way. So I'm going to dash there. Hopefully not hit the spikes. And dash there as well. Just to save a little bit of time for us. Hopefully pogo up to this platform. And then, ooh, okay, jump off the wall and just sort of shimmy on up the wall. And clog the pipe and rescue our first pirate. Good stuff. We're moving on. Don't blink, this next one is cool. Trust me. Gonna be quiet here. Pogo off of the bird. Jump, jump, dash, and that is Pirate Pogo. It's a couple of jumps in a row and a pogo that allow us to skip right on up to that platform. Hit a nice cycle on those, and we rescue our second pirate. So just one more pirate to rescue in this level. We'll be moving on. There's a really hard trick to hit there. Unfortunately, I didn't quite get it, so I don't know how we're going to do on hitting an early cycle on some moving platforms in this room. We certainly will try, though. Through those enemies. Yeah, not quite able to get there, unfortunately, but that's okay. Because we're just going to dash through all of those, kill the bird, and rescue our last pirate. And we're going to be coming up on the end of level 3 now, already. Can you believe it? And we're going to be fighting the second boss of the game, or in our case, the first boss of the run. It's pretty straightforward, just attacking some like ink tendrils and fighting an enemy horde. So if you want to say something real quick, right now is an excellent time.
Do you have time for one donation or maybe 2?
Go for it. One donation would be good right now.
Okay, we have one donation from Rillabelle.
Really?
It's $5, and it just says, "Noot, noot."
Thank you so much, Rill. Show some loving in chat for Rill. Ah, I got hit. Okay. That was a pretty alright boss fight there. That's the second boss. And we're gonna be... Thank you for the newt newts. We're gonna be moving into level 4, which is called Volcano Approach. This is one of my favorite levels to run. The movement is really fun, really tight, a lot of cool, like tight platform cycles to hit, fun stuff like that. Some fun enemy placement as well. Although we're only going to see enemies for the first couple of rooms in this level, after the third room we're not going to see any more, which means we're only going to have 3 uses of dash attack after this room here. Gotta conserve it as much as possible. Hit that guy, that was a bummer. Alright, so I'm gonna do a pogo off of that ball, and that'll refill our ink and allow us to get up here and do a dash attack up to this spring, skipping the background section of this room, and from here on out we have 2 uses of the dash attack left for the rest of this level, and I'll point out the places that we're going to use those. Pray for happy bacon wheels. These bacon wheels aren't too happy, unfortunately. Circles are hard to get like decent angles off of, especially when they're spinning. And so unfortunately we missed an early cycle on those 2 platforms that are sort of swinging back and forth to each other, but that's okay. I'm gonna pivot to hit that spring and do a dash, or a slide jump off of that platform. I'm gonna try something that Rill taught me very recently. A couple of slide jumps there and just over the top of that spike wall. Good stuff. Pivot in the... Whoa, okay. Oh wow. Spits me out all the way back here. Oh well, we're gonna do it again. Oh my god. I forgot to jump. Alright, it's okay, it's okay. This gives me a little bit of time to explain what's going. Oh my god. I can't believe it. Oh no. Everything is falling apart. Alright. A little bit of time to explain. If I hold backwards through that portal, it turns me around so I can do a slide jump off of there. I was thinking about doing a pivot onto that spring again, but it's okay. We're not going to do that. We can skip that for the time being. We're just going to forget that that room happened. It is possible to hit the bottom lip of that portal there too. We did not quite hit that though, and that's okay. I'm going to use the second dash attack there and hopefully not go into that portal. Jump off the very end of that rail, and that should let me hit the falling platforms there. This room is a wraparound room, one of your classic, you know, like platformer wraparounds. This is the only time that we're gonna see this gimmick used in this run. In this game, really. Well, okay, there's the bonus room in this room also uses it, but that's okay. Alright, pray for Inkless. Can I get it second try? Can I get it third try? There we go. Alright, it's called Inkless because you do it without using the ink. And instead we like to use the ink right there. It is possible to do a dash over to the spring. We don't anymore because we can get enough speed just by jumping off of that little lip there by the spikes. And we are moving on. After this room, we are going to be entering the third boss fight, which is a little snoozy, so feel free to get in a quick donation as well. Now would be an excellent time for that other one.
Absolutely. Yeah, so the second donation from earlier that we have is from Gordon Pint, I think it's called.
Yo,
$20. It says, why do chicken coops have 2 doors? Because if they had 4, they'd be chicken sedans.
Oh my
Wagga
god.
wagga boo boo. New can play games quickly with the little smiley face with like the little nose.
Thank you, Gordon Pint. I appreciate it. Oh, come on. Whatever. We'll take it. Thank you very much for your donations. That is level 4. So now we're going into the last level of the game, Volcano. It is tricky. So if you remember Puddle Jump from earlier, I'm gonna do the same thing pretty much there and dash through a couple of enemies, skipping a little horde fight. Oof, okay. Interesting thing about this game that I can bring up there, when you go into like a wall and you're holding on to the wall, okay, a little spooky. It does conserve your momentum, and you can sort of chain that speed from in between wall jumps. Now, if you hold on to the wall for like a second and a half, that goes away. So if you go a little bit too quickly at that point, unfortunately, your speed will... Oh my gosh, okay. That was a little unfortunate. So I'm trying to do a side jump off of the platform with that bonus room door on it, and I didn't quite get enough speed. That should be a lot better. Alright, a couple of slide jumps to set up my movement for the next room. I'm going to do a couple more off of those platforms. Not quite the fastest movement possible there, but it's okay. So there I stuck to the wall a little bit and unfortunately lost a decent amount of speed. But I was able to get by those enemies pretty quickly. This level has a lot of enemies, a lot of more tricky platforming that we're going to try to get around. Do a little loop-de-loop on that ink board. Skip having to jump off of a wall. And this section is really cool. Unless I get hit, then it's not as cool. Here I'm gonna go for the third lip up from the ground, and that should pretty much guarantee that we hit early cycle on those two moving platforms. I'm gonna try something here and dash up to, oh my god, up to that rail. I have another use of dash, so I'm gonna try it again for the fans. Ooh, here's like my one big contribution to this speedrun. If you jump off the very end of that rope and pogo off of that bird, you get just enough height and distance to land on that platform, which is great. And you get 2 uses of dash attack out of it, which we use one to clear the puddle of ink, and we're going to use another one here at the end of this next room. After doing a couple of nice slide jumps. Ooh, dash there. Ate my input, unfortunately. Gonna do a thing here too. Swing a couple of times to make it up to that platform without having to hit the rail. Whew. Take a breather real quick because we're about to go into the boss fight. And take a sip of water to hydrate. Remember to hydrate. To all my gamers out there. So the boss fight, we're going to try to lure the boss all the way to the right side of the screen, sort of right up against the wall, pin him up against the wall, and then do a series of dash attacks and short charged attacks back and forth to sort of stun lock the boss up against the wall. Hopefully that's how that works. We'll see. In practice it's a little different. Time will be when I enter the portal at the bottom of the screen, which will be coming up pretty shortly. Okay. Will Ink Pants behave today? That was actually a really good boss fight. Try to hit frame perfect. Ah, just barely missed it. All right, so get ready and time. That is Super Fancy Pants Adventure New Game Plus. Thank you all for hanging out and watching. Do we have an RTA time?
It's looking about 21:27.
21:27? That's not bad. That's not bad at all. In-game time, that was about 19:57, according to my timer, which sub 20 is pretty darn good. Thank you all so much for watching. I really, really appreciate all of the love and all of the support. Blue hearts in chat to all of you. If you want to run this game, please do. It's super cool. I love it so much. You can find us. We have a Discord. You can get a hold of me for that if you would like. Otherwise, you could probably find it on our SRC page as well. What else? I guess you could follow my Twitch channel if you do care for that. I'm going to be playing a lot of this game lately because I want to PB in it. That's I of, in one word, _Newt. So follow that if you like. Follow Midwest Speed Fest as well, and donate to Speed Stuff for Charity 7. Thank you all so much. Bye.